be discussing on the concept of ideology with focus on modernism and postmodernism. Ideology refers to the structural systems of ideas, beliefs, and values that shapes how individuals and society understand reality, knowledge, and truth. Throughout history, different ideologies have guided human thinking, particularly in science, philosophy, and social organization. Modernism emerged during the Enlightenment period and emphasized the power of human reason, rational thinking, and scientific methods in discovering objective truth. Influential thinkers such as René Descartes, Immanuel Kant, and John Locke believed that through intellectual and empirical knowledge, society could achieve progress and improvement. However, the dominance of science, rational leaders faced on leading and raising postmodernism in 20th century. Postmodernism judged the idea of absolute truth and argue knowledge is also shaped by social culture, philosophical and human context.
Hello everyone, my name is Nayla Khoerunnisa and my metric number is 308593. Modernism as a philosophical movement emerged primarily between 1860s and the 1970s, characterized by a quest for a new aesthetic expression and ideological frameworks in response to the rapidly changing cultural landscape of the time, influenced by Enlightenment, ideal emphasizing reason, freedom, and individuality. Modernism marked a departure from traditional authority and established norm, encouraging a revolution of human potential and destiny. The movement found its early roots in Renaissance humanism, which stressed human agency over divine determinism, and it catalyzed debate about the superiority of modern approach compared to classical tradition. Humanism is brought by the philosopher of the Enlightenment movement, which emphasized the importance of the rational mind in determining the truth. The form of social organization emphasized the rational thinking and scientific method in solving problems that are not only problems of nature, but problems related to humanity as well. The main feature of modernism is rational, naturalistic, and scientific. Rationalism is belief that reason and logical thought are primary sources of knowledge, challenging religious or traditional authority. Naturalism or objectivity focus on observable reality and natural laws, often moving away from subjective, emotional, or mystical interpretation. Scientific progress reliance on scientific method, technology, and empirical evidence to solve social problems and drive innovation.
Next, postmodernism. So for postmodernism is questioning about absolute truth, universal values, and fixed meanings. From a postmodernist viewpoint, knowledge is not neutral or permanent, because what we consider as truth is often influenced by power structures, social background, and dominant narratives, which oppose and halt a rebellion against logocentrism, as well as against rationality, objectivity, and scientific method. So it rejects absolute truth and emphasizes multiple perspectives, personal experience, and social context. It values diversity, support inclusive and flexible approach to learning. For postmodernism key thinkers and examples, the first one is Jean-Francois Lyotard, that coined the phrase incredulity toward meta-narrativeness or grand narratives. Second one is Michel Foucault, explored the relationship between power and knowledge and how institutions construct truth. The third one is Jacques Derrida, that developed deconstruction, a method of reading texts to reveal their internal contradictions and hidden assumptions.
My name is Naurah Fadhilah Awandini. My metric number is 309065. So Thomas Kuhn was a philosopher and historian of science, best known for his ideas about how science develops. He criticized traditional or modernist view of science. In the modernist view, science is seen as objective, rational, and always progressing toward the truth. However, Kuhn argued that this view is too simple and does not fully reflect reality. According to Kuhn, scientific development does not rely only on logic and evidence. Changes in science often happen through shift in theories or paradigm, and this process is influenced by non-rational factors. And from a psychological perspective, scientists are human beings with beliefs, habits, and ways of thinking. This can affect whether they accept or reject a theory, not only based on logic, but also on comfort and long-held belief. And from a sociological perspective, the acceptance of a theory is influenced by scientific communities and dominant group in society. Therefore, can believe that science is not completely objective, but is also shaped by human and social factors.
My name is Yusuf, and my part is other schools of postmodernism. Another school of thought associated with postmodernism is social constructivism. Social constructivists believe that knowledge does not simply reflect objective reality. Instead, they argue that knowledge is constructed by society, based on human interests, values, and needs. According to this view, scientists does not study nature in completely neutral way. Humans choose what aspects of nature are to implement to study, and this choice influences the knowledge that is produced. Therefore, science is shaped by social, cultural, and historical factors, not purely by objective facts. For example, Ludwig Flick, a sociologist of science, explained that the concept used in medical science, such as the defense mechanism of human body, reflects social influences. Another example is Darwin's theory of evolution, which was influenced by Thomas Malthus' idea on population. This shows that scientific theories can be affected by the society and historical condition in which they develop. From this perspective, postmodernists argue that science is not fully objective, but influenced by social factors. Thank you.
Bismillah. My name is Khalid Mohammed and my metric number is 308599. I will be explaining today the theory of relativism. The theory of relativism is the idea that there is no single absolute truth that applies to everyone at all times. Instead, what is considered right, wrong, true, or false can depend on culture, society, situation, or personal beliefs. In moral relativism, people believe that moral rules are shaped by culture. For example, something seen as acceptable in one country may be considered wrong in another country. This means morality is not universal, but relativism to social norms and traditions. In cultural relativism, we are encouraged to understand people's actions based on their cultural background rather than judging them by our own standards. This helps promote tolerance and respect among different societies. Relativism teaches us that people experience the world differently, so their views and decisions are influenced by their environment, education, and values. However, critics argue that if everything is relative, it becomes difficult to judge harmful actions or defend universal humans. In conclusion, the theory of relativism reminds us to open-minded and respect of differences, while also challenging us to think carefully about where should we be in the future. That was my part. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dan. My metric number 308594. Now I'm going to talk about the other school of thoughts in postmodernism. The first one is direct deconstructionism. In short, things are not as simple as we thought. The second, following this, focus work on the science and the relationship to power offer other critical perspective. Many rules and truths in society, such as what doctor says, says, are not necessarily correct because they are inherently true, but because experts or people in power have made such rules in order to make society more orderly and easy to manage. In a similar vein, Camus' essentialism emphasizes individuals must create their own meaning and value in life through free choice and action. Ultimately, this idea all emphasizes human subjectivity, sociality, and spirituality, which opposite of the objectivity, rationality, and scientific worth emphasized by modernism.
Hello everyone, I'm Hao Yufei. My metric number is 308611. Now I introduce the three mainstream in the orientations of thought of contemporary societies. The first one is liberalism. For liberalism is always emphasizing individual freedom, human rights, and equality before the law. And sport demonstrates freedom of speech and free market, and sees societies as a collection of autonomous individuals. And the second one is conservatism. Conservatism for its values, traditions, social stability, and community. Skeptical of rapid change and abstract theories. Emphasize families, religion, culture, and established institutions. For third is socialism. It's always focused on social equality and economic justice, and criticize capitalism for creating exploitations and inequality, and supports collective ownership or strong state relations of key resource.
Hello everyone, my name is Zhang Junwei. My metric number is 308584. Today I will talk about the development of the relativism. Relativism say that the truth and the morality depend on the personal or the cultural views. This idea sounds open and tolerant, but it also has problems. If everyone's opinion is considered right, it becomes very hard to say what is right or wrong. Because of this, we cannot clearly security harmful the actions, such as the human right abuse. Revelation also has the logical problem. If all the truth is the relative, the relativism itself cannot always be true. For this reason, many people believe that the relativism is weak moral judgment and objection truth.
So, hello everyone. My name is Muhammad Fikrian Wiraga. My matric number is 303053. In this video, I will explain the effect of relativism on religious beliefs. So, relativism is one of the main ideas in postmodernism. So, it teaches that there is no absolute truth. According to relativism, truth is not fixed and can change depending on different viewpoints, situation, or cultural backgrounds. Because of this, different ideas, even opposing ones, can be accepted as true at the same time. So, this idea creates serious challenge for religion. Religion, including Islam, is based on absolute and unquestionable truth. Religious beliefs must be accepted fully and cannot be changed or doubted. For example, like belief in God is considered an absolute belief. It is a core teaching in religion and must be accepted with certainty. When relativism is applied to religion, it suggests that believing in God and not believing in God can both be seen as acceptable. This creates a logical problem. In logic, a statement and its opposite cannot both be true at the same time. Therefore, relativism weakens the logical foundation of religious beliefs and creates confusion about what is true. From a religious perspective, relativism is rejected because it may create doubt and uncertainty in faith. Religion requires strong beliefs, commitment, and certainty in absolute truth. If religious truth becomes relative, the meaning and authority of religion may be weakened. In conclusion, relativism challenges religious beliefs by denying absolute truth. While it allows different perspectives, it conflicts with the basic principle of religion, which are based on certainty and absolute belief. Thank you.
Now the conclusion. Modernism and postmodernism present two contrasts ideological representing. Modernism emphasizes rational scientific methods and the pursuit of objective truth, while postmodernism questions these assumptions and highlights the influence of social, cultural, and human factors in shaping knowledge. So this debate has important implications for society, science, and religion, in particular in discussions about objective truth and belief.